Taxpayers' money was used to bail out the Sefton group, and it's now been revealed that the loans made by the government were illegal. The Economic Development Minister, John Shimin, has offered to resign. Now I'm with Kate Beecroft, who originally raised the question of the legality of these loans. You came in for some quite severe criticism from the Chief Minister. You must be feeling vindicated now.
Well, of course I am. Of course I am. It still doesn't take away, I suppose, the unpleasant taste of where we are, because nothing has actually been resolved properly yet. We've had the legal opinion, but we still don't know what's going to happen. Minister Shimin said when the committee sat that if they'd found that he had acted inappropriately, he would fall on his sword. The committee said those very words: "We have found Minister Shimin acted inappropriately," and he changed his mind. Now we have him tendering his resignation. That just means he's offered it, and the Chief Minister has failed to accept it. That's very different to resigning, which to me is the only honourable thing to do. But that doesn't take away from some of the bigger issues actually that need to be looked at. How did this happen? Why were normal procedures not followed? Whose advice were they acted on? Did any of the officers warn them that maybe they were going to be ultra-vires? There's a whole raft of stuff. It just doesn't go away, even if he suddenly resigns and leaves the post.
I think that's a good point. People are asking all these questions. Will we get the answers to these questions? What's the next step?
I honestly don't know. It could be that the Public Accounts Committee would pick it up. It could be that a select committee of Tynwald would be appointed. I don't know. It's just such early days. We haven't even had a response from the Council of Ministers. As we know, we've only heard the reaction from the Chief Minister. So who knows where it's going to go in the future.
Now the Chief Minister has been away as this story's broken.
Yes.
What is your view on what he should do now when he gets back?
Well, obviously he should have a conversation with Minister Shimin, and my feeling is he really should accept Minister Shimin's resignation. He's putting in jeopardy the whole credibility of the whole of his administration. If he doesn't, how can you have any confidence in an administration where it's been proved that one of the ministers has not acted within the law and stays in post? We've still got this other issue of the CI65 rumbling on, where you've got two ministers disagreeing with the Chief Minister over where a decision to award the second phase of that contract happened. Ministers Tier and Robertshaw are saying it happened within the Council of Ministers on the 12th of September. The Chief Minister is saying it didn't, and it's not reflected in the summary of proceedings. So you've got another instance there. I'm not surprised people are feeling uncomfortable with this administration. It's a right shambles, to be honest.
I think it has knocked public confidence, hasn't it, in the government?
Yes, it has.
And do you think that, John Shimin did say he would fall on his sword if this proved to be the case. So you think that should happen?
Well, I do. You can't have one law for the people of the Isle of Man, the ordinary people, and one law for ministers. It's not acceptable. And I think had he not been aware at all of normal procedure, had he no officers round him that could have advised him, I think it's a different thing. If somebody just does something without any recourse to anybody, they didn't have access to advice or whatever, but he did.
Now again, the Chief Minister has said in the past that there would be just as much criticism if the government hadn't bailed out the Sefton. We're looking at some 300 jobs. Should we have paid for that?
Well, I don't believe so. I didn't at the time, and I still don't. However, that is a matter of opinion, and that is a very different issue to the one that we're discussing today. We're not actually discussing the Sefton itself, their predicament, or anything else. We're discussing the vires of this loan, or of these loans, in effect, because there was one back in 2012 as well, which nobody knew anything about.
Eddie Tier, he defended the funding in Tynwald yesterday, saying that if this hadn't happened, there would have been a knock-on effect with other businesses and other industries. Do you accept that?
No, I don't. No, I don't, because Minister Shimon took it forward to the Council of Ministers without Treasury approval. So, I mean, that's why I asked the Treasury Minister how could he feel comfortable with what he was saying. He said he did. I'm still not quite sure how he can, because he did not agree with the Council of Ministers. He voted against it. But under collective responsibility, he very vehemently defended the decision that was taken at the end of the day. I mean, that's what they do. This is why I'm so against collective responsibility in its current form. It goes far too far.
This will be up for debate in Tynwald, and it's bound to be a heated debate. What could be the outcome of that debate?
The outcome could be a proper inquiry into where governance has gone wrong, where procedures have been allowed to slip, where the safeguards have been allowed to slip. I mean, don't forget you had 3 backstops in all of this, and all of them failed. Every single one of them. Something has to be. As I say, it's not just about Minister Shimon. It's not just about the Sefton. This is about process. This is about following proper procedure. Why did those processes fail? That's what we need to know going forward.
And that's something that the public need to know.
They do, because if you don't find out what went wrong, what needs to be put in place to prevent it happening again, how are you going to restore that confidence?
And is this an issue that you think the Chief Minister should consider resigning over?
Well, to be quite honest, as everybody knows, I didn't think he should have been appointed in the first place. Somebody who's been found guilty of deliberately misleading Tynwald and handing the reins of government over to into a private hands, to my mind, has no place in being Chief Minister in the first place, and his leadership of this administration does him no credit whatsoever.